today we're going to be going through memory lane. So we decided to invite people who were there right from the very, very beginning when we're starting the Techpoint Africa podcast. And yeah, that's not all we're doing, in case you're wondering. We're going to be discussing some important stories. First of all, you're going to learn if your account is going to get frozen. Number two, you're going to understand why some startups are shutting down or just, after raising millions of dollars or supposedly raising millions of dollars. And finally, there's a surprise acquisition in the ecosystem, and we're diving into it deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So yeah, stay tuned to the end of the show. First, welcome our guest in the studio, Muyiwa and Omolara. Please, a round of applause for them, please. Studio. Okay, so good to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
too.
Good to see you, Omolara.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Yeah.
Very well.
So Muyiwa is still part of the house. So, but let's find out like everything, anything you want to share with us.
Okay. It's good to be here again. I mean, I'm having this nostalgia feeling. You know, the episodes I was part of in the TechPoint podcast, it was just voices.
Yeah.
It was just voices, no videos, but it's good to be here and you're seeing the faces behind the voices, yeah. So it's really good. It's been quite an interesting journey. I mean, we're having some conversations before we came in here and okay, so I'm supposed to answer.
Yeah, no. I just thank you. I just set you up with that this thing. But yeah, if you're wondering, Omolara was. So if you hear Nifemi and Emmanuel, Omolara, then Tage, then Doka, we're like the group of troublemakers that came into TechPoint in 2019, and Omolara was the biggest troublemaker.
What do you mean?
You're the one I always fighting, whether you or Nifemi. There was the two of you.
I
I'm
think
not
I
sure.
was the one.
You're the one, right? Good. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience. It was an amazing time, and yeah, good to have you back in the studio. So Muyiwa, okay, so let me try to. I know you've answered this question before when you came to the podcast a few episodes ago, but can we delve a little bit deeper into how all of this started, the podcast and all of that?
Yeah, it was just a random thing.
Okay.
Like I said before, it started as an experiment. Somebody suggested it. Like, oh, why don't you just start a podcast? And then sent a few samples. I think they sent one from BBC and a few others. And we kind of like tried to fashion it after the BBC one because BBC is a news platform, so we take news. And there was just like snappy. They have different podcasts, but this particular one was like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or less than that. Safe. One reporter or two, they just reel down the news, the headlines, and give you the 5 W's and H, and with background music playing, and that's all. And yeah, then they encourage you to visit BBC to learn more. And so that was what the very first episode was. I believe the first episode was Tage and Titilola.
I'm Titilola.
I'm Tage.
This is Techpoint Africa Podcast.
This week on Techpoint Africa.
Subscribers can go and look for that. Yeah, the first episode was Tage and Titilola, and they just went back and forth.
Oh,
it was
interesting. I think I
very-
remember.
It was very
that
robotic.
episode. Yeah. So
And they were like, okay, no, we don't like this format. Let's try freeform. And so we then moved to freeform, and then that's how it just went to different stages. At some point, Carol reached out. Carol was like our sound engineer. He just liked. Was a fan of Techpoint. He heard a couple episodes and was like, hey, because we're recording them with like I think we had this lapel.
Okay, lapel.
This boya.
Boya to work, Abi.
Yeah, boya. The sound wasn't that great. Yeah, so I mean, those that complain about sound now, I don't see it, but anyway, you need to hear the sound back then. So we're like, oh, I can help you make the sound better. And then he came, just appeared one day with equipment and mics and everything. I
I
think
think I remember that day.
Yeah.
and those episodes, the sound was very good. Those episodes, yeah, anyway. So yeah, he came, did that. Karuna, he has a
That's
Japan.
But yeah, it was very instrumental. And
Yeah, I think I remember all those times, and I think right now I just wonder what other directions we could have taken the podcast, but maybe we will leave that for probably future conversations. But Omolara, your first time in the mic, how did it feel? Like,
I was very nervous because, the way Muyiwa does is that he just comes into the auditorium and say, "You're the next one." I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? So he comes in and say, "Okay, these are the stories we are sharing, we are talking about and all of that." So I'm like, am I supposed to read all of this and just come and just talk freestyle? But as the time went on, I became,
yeah. I
free
mean,
with
you look the
it.
part, so you
Yes,
just,
exactly. So I heard the fact that, aside the fact that people tell me that I have the voice,
yeah.
I have the voice and people want to hear me speak and all of that. So I just kind of like blended into the whole thing and it went well till I left Techpoint.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah, for those, you had 3 names, right? We've confirmed 2 for next week. Titi and Tage, the people that hosted the very first episode. We'll be inviting them next week. We're still debating who will host that one. Because she's look at her there. But it's fine. Okay, you can't see her. But it's fine. So, but of Carol, right now, he's probably still sleeping, or that is if he still sleeps in general. Well, Carol, if you are listening to this, it's a challenge. Let's do this. Let's talk. And I know there are a bunch of stories. I heard Carol talked about when he first heard the podcast and what made him reach out. I think you should come and share it
Yeah.
on live camera if he has the mind. So, okay, guys. I think at some point, say let's do video. Like,
Yeah.
why the move from just audio to video?
The idea was just like, honestly, so I mean, when we just audio, the numbers were okay, especially pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, I guess.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, it peaked at COVID anyway. But yeah, but pre-COVID, the numbers were okay. But then after everybody came back to working and all of that, the numbers were tanking. And I was like, okay, what can we do next? What's the next thing we can use to like make it more out there, like get it, promote it? I'm like, okay, let's do video. But then you have to start thinking, do you have the equipment? Do you have the expertise? I'm like, no, I don't want to think about this thing. Let's just do it. If it's ugly, let it be ugly. I'm sure the first video episode is still okay. Wait, we had 2 phases of video.
Yeah,
So
one with table.
The first one was when we're still in our office in Anthony. We used the GoPro and all. Yeah, there was one on the table. There was one that we used the GoPro. That's one phase. The second phase was when we started using this studio.
Yeah,
you need to see the first video. Really terrible.
I think we used phones to record that first.
Yeah, or some camcorders. Yeah,
one camcorder.
Really terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea is you just keep improving. That's a testament to consistency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I was dragging with you then, like, it's Techpoint.
Yeah, I mean,
Processes.
the truth is, it's not like we are CNN or channel. Do you know how much it costs to get one camera? Like high quality camera that you see on TV. Yeah, we don't have that kind of money.
Millions of naira.
forget the impact Techpoint has. No, we don't have that kind of money. The other things to prioritize. So I mean, those things cost a boatload of money. So it's not. Yeah. So I mean, you just start with what you have and improve. Just keep improving. Just being able to. I mean, when people look at people like MKBHD, for example.
Yeah.
Go and check his first video. Like
horrible.
Look at Mr. Beast to check his first video. So I mean,
I think it's all part of the story actually.
Yeah.
It's all part of the process and it shows that there is a line of growth in everything that is going on. And when you get to that peak, if you eventually get to the peak, it all makes up the story of how you got there in the first place. I mean, nobody just comes out of the blues and blow like that.
Even if you look at sorry, I thought you're done. Even if you look at like big media houses that you look at, like channels, CNN. If you check their face, just that in Nigeria we don't keep records.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, you can check like for like ABC, CNBC, all those kind. If you check their first news studio or whatever, you just be like, this is it's terrible. So although yes, also of course, technology at the time also there's a factor. But even them, you find out that they even where they are now, they still have a goal in front where they want to be.
Yeah.
So you just keep improving.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So if I keep asking questions, and I think we will not even delve into today's stories. So yeah, I think we should move to the stories for today, and we can keep chipping in one or two things at different intervals. So
Yeah.
don't be angry if I digress once in a while. Maybe I remember one question I was supposed to ask or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, first things first. The CBN released a circular that from 2024, I think April 2024, they'll be freezing accounts without NINs and BVNs. And that's a big issue considering all of the things that have been going on in the fintech or financial services space. So in the past few weeks, we've heard so and so bank lost billions of naira to fraud in tech space. This bank blocked money transfers to 3 new banks. And the consensus was all this money that has been lost in the tech space or in the financial services space is going out through 2 major neobanks, PalmPay and OP. And from what I found out during that time, it's saying that the NIN was supposed to have been enforced by all these fintech companies a few months ago, but nobody followed that, and CBN did not enforce it. But now the CBN is about to enforce it, and I have concerns. So, but let me hear what you guys think about this particular issue in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's overdue.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I mean, yeah, I want to put myself in the shoes of like a fintech company that has raised venture capital and has to always signal growth, and so you prioritize tier 1 accounts. That's accounts that don't require
Any
form
serious
of
KYC, yeah.
identification, like just your phone number or your email. You just use and verify, right? And then that means I can put anybody's name, opening an account in anybody's name, and use that to collect money and move money around. And when you hear them throwing numbers like, oh, they have so number of accounts, I think the average fintech probably has more users than the average Nigerian bank,
Yeah.
right? And then we're always like kind of giving Nigerian banks some flack for how maybe they're a bit slow about some things that require you to come physically. So for an example, my wife opened an account recently for a new job she got, and she was able to open it online, but she was receiving money in it, but she was not able to access the money for months because the bank was like, no, you have to come physically before you can start accessing the money. And so, I mean, mother of 2 babies, even though I assist, there's not enough time to go to the bank. So eventually she went to the bank and was able to submit whatever they needed and everything. And then she attempted her first transfer, and they called her. Like the customer care of the bank called her and said, we're trying to confirm that you just attempted this transfer. Blah, 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 blah. Like asked her a few questions, verified who she was. When she confirmed everything and they were satisfied, immediately the call ended, the transfer went through.
Interesting.
Now, all these processes, they cause some kind of friction. You complain, right? But there is a reason behind them.
True.
So when the CBN is saying they want to block accounts without BVN or NIN, right? The initial reaction is to start complaining about things like that. But then if you know how much money people have lost, right, to things like this, where people are opening accounts in your name and can transfer money and move around, then you understand the reasoning behind it. Then the question now is, how do we find the balance? I think that is what fintech startups should. That's why they are the innovators. We need to find a way to find that balance. There needs to be innovation around that. I don't know how the likes of MoneyPoint does it, but there needs to be innovation around that.
I mean, to be fair, even MoneyPoint, Kuda, they don't have as much issues as PalmPay
Exactly.
and Kuda, but there are still concerns with them, right? So there's the fact that this one is not outright. I won't call it outright fraud, but say you transfer money to an Instagram vendor and the Instagram vendor does not respond to you. if you report to the bank, they will first of all freeze the account, then tell the person to come. Let's settle the issue. But right now, I don't know if it's a policy change, but right now, these new banks, they don't freeze the account. They will tell you to go and bring a police report.
Mm.
Yeah.
And when they are telling you to bring police report, they're basically telling you, forget that money. Because police report is like another...
That's stress on it.
You probably spend.
You spend how much?
Like,
How much did you send to the? You spend how much you.
So, but I don't know if you've experienced any of these things I'm mentioning.
Well, not directly.
Okay.
My sister works with a certain bank in Nigeria, so she gets to resolve most of these issues with these new banks and all of that. So one of the issues that she always complains about is the fact that anytime someone does a transaction, and people come to the bank a lot to complain. So they make some transactions and they tell you to send it to a PalmPay or an OPay account. Fraud, actually. So immediately this money goes into this account. Trust me, there is no how you can track it. It is not coming out again. That's the end. That's the end. But if it's a normal traditional bank, right, you can always freeze the account, like you said. Freeze the account, call the person, there is a way they go about this whole thing. But if it is any of these new banks, the money is not coming out. The money is not coming out. So I think this might be a good policy for our own good, because a lot of people has lost lots of money. I mean, I hear a lot of stories. I can't even start recounting all of them. I hear a lot of these stories. So yeah, I think it's a good initiative actually.
So-
Though we might need to take some time to adjust to it, I think the news even said that people that their NIN has been verified, they need to revalidate the account. They need to revalidate the NIN.
So everybody.
Everybody,
Like,
yes.
including people who already.
Yes. We need to all revalidate our NIN.
No.
And the fact that we need to go to the bank, I mean, on Monday, I'm on leave. On Monday, I spent half of my day at the bank. Don't let me mention the name of the bank. I spent half of my day at the bank. I'm like, okay, so this thing could have easily taken... I sent the money to another account and the money didn't go through. So I had to go to the bank to complain. And I spent half of the day. And there were not even chairs that I could even sit. I stood my eyes were turning me at some point. So
You didn't buy a ground, like I said.
So I was wondering, I wanted to ask you, like, is there, maybe like your sister has, is there like a policy that is enabling traditional banks to be able to freeze those monies and new banks can't do that?
I think so. I think because it's intra-bank transactions, you can always call maybe the person involved or something, or
Bibs
call
or
the
something,
call the account manager to tell them that, oh, this is what is happening with this account. We need to find a way around.
There's
Like,
a lot more
yes,
collaboration
there's
between those
yes
commercial
compared
banks.
to all these new banks. Yeah.
Interesting. Because, I mean, there's a case for putting friction to curb fraud, but for fintechs, right, I get what you guys are saying, but there's a particular platform when I wanted to get a new device, I wanted to pay instrumentally. And my regular customer, you guys know them, I didn't like the terms of their deal, so I wanted to use a different platform. Then this platform started asking me for this, asking me for that, asking me for this. On top, I said I'm not doing it again. 2 weeks later, they messaged me like, how far? We noticed you started this process, but you didn't complete. I said, no,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
okay, when you see this is too much. Kilo day.
It's the same experience I've had with them. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So,
We
I
don't want to
mean,
mention them, but yeah.
come on.
But that's why they will not have the kind of growth that you are hearing other fintechs having. Right?
Yeah, but they might not have as much fraud problems.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's like their compliance team is just hardcore. They just want everything to be done the right way, even though they don't even make you come physically.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, this is not an ad for. I'm not okay. I don't want to mention. So it's not that I'm promoting them, but I've already mentioned one of them. I see that they found a way, because speaking to innovation around what I was talking about, they found a way to kind of do some of these verifications with third-party, either it's third-party tools or tools they build themselves, where you like turn on your camera, They see you live.
Okay.
Just to confirm that you are the person that you say you are. They probably use AI and match it with the record on your BVN or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've opened an account like that with one of these neobanks, a business account for Techpoint, one of these neobanks, and everything was done in under 30 minutes. And within 12 hours, account was ready, all the documents were submitted, verified, and all of that. I did not confirm whether it was proprietary or a third-party service. I know there are services like that in Nigeria and Africa.
Yeah.
Right. So, is there a way CBN themselves can then embrace some of these things? Right. So, yes, maybe they may not fully understand what's going on there, the tech around it. But if they can embrace it, create a framework policy for maybe verifying or accrediting, licensing some of these platforms, and then integrate them into traditional banks, maybe it might make their work easier.
I think so. I mean, there are lots of verification platforms in Nigeria, like Doja, like Preambly, like Smile Identity, and all of that.
Yes,
so
Verify
me. Yeah. So I'm sure that there should be a way to, collaborate and.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, you guys can check out the video. I'm linking it to it again because this seems to be a recurring theme in the podcast, talking about fraud and all of that. So the interview I did with the CEO of Verify Me, we talked a lot about this balance, the need to innovate fast and acquire customers, and the need to be compliant and do the proper KYC verifications that you need to. So yeah, just check that out. And the next story, I'm going to lump the two of them together a little bit because they're kind of related. So two companies that raised money, lots of money. No matter how you look at it, it's a lot of money. One decided to shut down, and the other decided to shut down their external operations and focus on the Nigerian market. So Lidya, a Nigerian fintech company, focused on credit. Now, yeah, I think I referenced credits in the last topic. So it's focused on credit collections and all those issues around borrowing money that you refuse to pay back. So they launched in Nigeria, Czech Republic, and Poland, but they're shutting down their operations in the two European countries to focus on the Nigerian market. Then Pivo, a fintech for logistics and supply chain, has shut down completely after raising $2 million in quotes. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Lidya, I understand. You can always try to focus on your strengths, focus on the market that you think is most promising. I've seen some companies do that. But for Pivo, the fintech company, they supposedly raised $2 million and they are shutting down again. This is the second time we're hearing something like this. Zazu said they raised $2 million.
The portable Zazu.
The name was probably the beginning of their problems, but let me not go there. But yeah, they said they raised. I'm saying they said because I'm not so sure again. And they said they are shutting down due to fundraising challenges after $2 million. I mean, in 1 year. I mean, Muyiwa, okay, yeah, let's hear from a founder. Like maybe you can.
I've never done that kind of level of raising anyway, so I can't speak to that. I mean, I'm more. We've been bootstrapping for how long? Yeah, there's so much going on that we don't really know, and I really wish I'm seeing, like, I like the sentiment I'm seeing on Twitter where people are saying some founders should start talking what's going, like they should start sharing their stories. We don't share failure stories
enough,
or
maybe at all safe.
Yeah, one of the biggest that time, I mean, it was
Oyape.
Oh yeah, that one. I don't want to talk about what's going on there. If you read between the underneath. Okay, but yeah, I mean, there was one about this, francophone founder that is on a platform that he had this streaming platform, and he shared a very deep dive into why this platform failed after 2 years. It's on Techpoint.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's like the last time. I don't remember when last I saw anybody really sharing their. Okay, of course, then Laserpay, he went on the Flip podcast. I've not listened to it, but I don't know whether he really went into it. So we don't really know what's going on, because so for me, it just seems weird that you raise $2 million and in 1 year you are.
Out of business.
And then some people are saying, okay, like is it Pivo or Pivo? They are saying that, okay, lending business is hard in Nigeria. Okay, yes, it's hard, but that's why not everybody is doing it. And that's why you are the expert and you raise $2 million to do it. So I don't think that's an excuse. However, there are other things coming up. People are saying, maybe sometimes, I'm starting to rethink this when people say they they are shutting down because they're not able to raise. I'm starting to rethink what that means based on the sentiments I'm seeing on Twitter. Like some people are saying maybe they never even actually raised the amount they announced. Right?
Another angle.
And so because they were still waiting for investors to wire money. So when they say they didn't raise, they are shutting down because of lack of funds. It's not because they had spent the one they raised. It's because they had not even gotten all the raised. We don't know for sure whether that's the case anyway, right? So there are so many things that could be happening. A third one that can be happening that is sinister, but I'm not saying this is what is happening. I'm just giving all the possible. It could just be that this was just a case of money laundering, right? This happens too. It happens. You can't deny it. Again, I'm not saying this is the case in the case of a Pivo, right? So there are many things and it's making me rethink. I mean, I've been battling with this a lot. We the media created this monster. Why people think announcing funding is a milestone.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what the audience wants to hear. They want to, and people hear that and they feel like running a startup is easy and it's just about raising money and all of that. Maybe it's time to start toning down things like that. TechCrunch started it. We all followed. Why do we announce funding? Like, I don't know. Because the pressure to announce funding, if you are telling me that for some people, the VC has not wired money, because VC2 is raising money, and maybe the LP VC is raising money from
has not even wired money.
Has not wired money. So VC is giving excuses. Look at the recent case. There was a recent case of did we report it? An investor that was defrauding startups, telling them he will invest in them, and they keep posting them.
I don't think we reported that. No.
Keep posting them because it's still under investigation. Yeah. So, like, there's a lot going on that we have no idea. As for Lidya, I've not really been following what's going on with Lidya, but I know that Tage Kene-Okafor and Eric Exen are their OGs, the co-founders of debatably co-founders, but they are hired. That's just the truth. We all know they were hired. Co-founders of Jumia. But then they moved on from that and they first started Ace.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
A logistic startup.
Startup, yeah.
And they found out that, I think what Tunde Kende keeps doing is that, so you are in e-commerce, but you find out that there is underlying infrastructure issues that will not allow e-commerce to work. So you try to solve one of those problems, which is logistics. And then you find out that there's still another underlying problem.
Which is
credits, and they moved on to that. So, but I've not really been following them. They don't make noise. They are mostly B2B anyway. But it's really interesting to me that they are deciding to focus on the Nigerian market, because everybody's always about
de-risking your
this and expanding. But then again, the markets they expanded to, then
Check.
Eastern
Europe.
They are, I like to call them the Nigerians. Poland is like the Nigeria of Europe. They are like Nigerians in every way, culturally and everything. So, yeah, I really don't have much to say about Lidya.
What if it's a leadership problem
for these startups that are shutting down?
Yes. What if it's a leadership problem?
So, but how would you define leadership? This leadership problem in context now, because they say some startup founders, to be successful, you need to be an asshole or something. Or
it
startup
could be
founders.
Mismanagement of funds, like Muyiwa said.
Okay.
I mean, we've heard of stories of startup founders that they get investment and the next thing they are doing is they are buying house in Lekki or they are buying cars and all of that. 2020 model, 2021 or 2022 models. I mean, we hear stories like that on Twitter. You see different stories like that on Twitter. So yes, just do anyhow with the money and all that. So that could also be part of the problem.
Okay. So I think this is at this point, I think we've asked ourselves this question before, but we keep coming back to it. I mean, someone said if we stop funding news, won't that also affect the ecosystem in general? Funding to the ecosystem in general. If we stop it, it will now have this feeling that maybe nothing is going
Nothing's
on.
happening.
No investment is coming in. So is it a case of okay, maybe stop funding news and just have a database of startups
Exactly.
that are raising?
Have a database, maybe a section on your site. People can just go and check. We do our reports already regularly. You can go and check the reports. Intel points. Why are we announcing the fundraising? Like, it's just weird.
I think that would even reduce the pressure on founders trying to be out there and saying that, oh, we raise this money, or I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
We've come to see fundraising as this milestone.
Yeah.
See any fundraise on Twitter, on Instagram.
People are even congratulating you. But
Congratulating
the headache that it is. And first of all, you are diluted. You've given away so much of the company that belongs to you, and then there's now more pressure. You're now answering to more people. So why are they congratulating you?
Honestly, it's funny. I mean, the founders have congratulated privately when they raise money. They're like, forget that thing. Forget that thing.
That's just the
Because
truth.
he's giving out so much. And
And then even announcing is also creating this. Because I find myself often having to educate people. Like people here, okay, first of all, even for me, because people see that. I mean, you said it before. You stopped sharing fundraising news on your WhatsApp status because people start billing you. Because they just I don't know how they think. But just because I announced fundraising that somebody raised money doesn't mean I'm their friend and I know them.
why should that even be the thought in the first place?
So I have money. And then even the person that raised, people just think that because they raised,
they have money automatically.
it's their money. Yes, again, because some founders then approach it that way. That's those ones that don't have corporate governance, right? But you're paid on the salary. It's not your money. Okay, people today still think that because Paystack was sold for 200 million, that is how much Shola and Ezra got. So all the people that invested the Paystack, then they will not collect their share of the 200 million. How much equity did Shola and Ezra have at the time that
acquisition?
And then even if it was 10% they had, it's possible they had less than that. But even if it was 10% they had, which is 20 million, how much of that was cash?
Some of that was converted into stock.
Some of that could be stock in Stripe that acquired them. So more focus on those kind of things that educate people. So I'm talking to ourselves.
Yes. I get the message.
We have a role to play.
I get the message. I mean, once I've even done it. So like once I was 2020, 2021, you see funding news, be like, when I want to go cash out my own now. But yeah, talking about acquisitions, you mentioned the Paystack acquisition, a landmark acquisition, but we had a surprise acquisition this week. When I saw the news yesterday, I was like, what? Showed Nifemi, she was like, what? So Bitmama has acquired Payday. Bitmama, cryptocurrency, blockchain focused cross-border payment startup. Then Payday, the self-proclaimed neobank for the gig economy. That is according to Nifemi's article. So, yeah, Muyiwa, can you give us some of the details you found about this?
As everybody has, well, unless you're living under a rock, as long as you are interested in the tech space, or even if you're a Payday customer or Bitmama or Changera customer.
I stopped using Payday.
Why?
Yeah.
Okay, please.
A lot of people stopped. Yeah, she'll share experience. Yeah, but hopefully maybe this will help resolve that. Yeah, Bitmama has acquired Payday, and according to a source I spoke to, it's practically a done deal, right? Their estimate was 85% done, just to sign a few things and all of that. They've already taken on board some of the employees of Payday, not all, but according to the source, which this sounds counterintuitive, but Payday has very good investment in customer service.
Do they?
I don't know because I don't use Payday much. I'm
just asking.
Hold on, what I know is that before this issue started, people kind of liked Payday's customer service. Is that right or wrong? Before their issue started.
When did the issue start? I want to know.
When they started having issues with you know all the underlying
Yeah,
issues they
yeah,
have.
yeah. But I mean, I tried using.
Yeah, there was a lot of positive sentiments about Payday. If you check Twitter
when
then.
it just started. I
If
remember.
you check Twitter then, there was a lot of positive sentiments.
Yeah, but
So, yeah.
down the line, just
Yeah, but if a product is struggling, how much
No.
what can customer service do?
okay. I think I remember what happened. I
Yeah.
was seeing a lot of positive sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to use the product. I'm like, did they pay you guys to be praising Payday? That's what I thought.
That could be.
And it was not just me. A friend of mine wanted to use Payday. And the next thing, he came into my room like, Ima, all this sorry, I'm speaking pidgin English. All this startup people are writing about, what are they doing? Because, okay, so let me just leave it at that.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this source, very close to the matter, says they actually have investment in customer service.
Okay.
There may be some disconnect, maybe because of the products. Anyway,
Mm.
so customer service, engineering, and marketing, they actually already, like as at last week, 2 weeks ago, they interviewed some of them already, and they already started working with Changera.
But not all of them.
Not all of them.
What about
Okay.
the CEO?
So there's no, they did not confirm what is happening with the CEO, but my guess is there's a very, very capable CTO already at
Bitmama.
Bitmama, and Payday CEO is a technical founder, so they probably have no need of him. Maybe you get stock, because the confirmation is that the deal was all stock, not cash,
No cash.
all stock. And I mean, who would want stock in Bitmama? Because what Bitmama is doing, they don't make as much noise. But one thing people should realize is that in the wake of this crypto crash, they've been running
Very smoothly.
and that's because they've early enough. I mean, I remember Roots Iselema, CEO at Techpoint Build, the interview she did that with Bolu
Beyond trading.
Beyond trading. They've already started thinking about crypto beyond trading, right? So, using stable coins and all of that to empower, like abstracting it for the user, because most of these crypto startups, they're always putting the crypto and blockchain in your face. People don't care, just solve my problem. Like, so being able to abstract it away from the user. So I think the acquisition is alliance because Payday has customers, they have their virtual, although Changera does have their own virtual card service anyway. So, but I think for them, the major reason why the acquisition went through is again because they've seen investment in customer service, the customer base that they have, then even the kind of, Payday was like the official Starlink partner in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So some kind of deals and network they probably have there. There will be some things that we're following up with. This is a developing story.
Yeah.
There may be some things they saw because people don't understand on the surface. They're like, why are they acquiring a struggling business, right? So, but the user base, customer service, maybe the tech, they've seen some things in the tech that they want to incorporate, because I know that Changera, which is a product of Bitmama, is launching a product very soon. It's actually in silent testing right now, but they are launching it in January. That will help businesses, because most of the solutions we see with cross-border payments is mostly personal.
Yeah.
This is for businesses.
Yeah.
Right? This
that
is a need that
sense.
even we have, So there must be something. I mean, again, following up, and when we get more updates, we'll definitely share. But there's something they saw that we that don't have access to the internals, because why would they just acquire any? And also, the other question. I hope I've touched on everything. If I haven't, please forgive me. But you can read the article. And that question that is coming up is because a lot of people say Payday is owing them.
Yeah.
They have funds logged with Payday. So that's another question on people's minds. And we're definitely following up on that too. We should have updates by the end of the week or latest next week. What is Bitmama's plan for people whose funds are being held with Payday?
Okay, makes sense. So, Omolara, before I say anything, do you want to share any of your experience with Payday? Let me not say anything today.
Do I really want to do this?
I want to do this.
I don't know, but I've not really had a good experience with Payday. I've used it once or twice, like successful transactions, maybe once or twice, but then I just don't like the fact that my card gets disabled oftentimes when I want to use it. So I just go in there, I want to make a transaction, and I just see that my card has been disabled, and I don't get any notification as a way, and I begin to wonder what happened,
Okay.
and also because I think I need to pay again to get my card reactivated or something like that. I need to pay, right? So all of those experiences, and this is the same thing with, I don't know if I can mention, cheaper cash too. They've been showing me shaggy. I think I've even just left all of
Yeah,
these.
interesting. I've not had issues with them.
I've had issues with cheaper cash too.
What specific issue?
What specific issues?
So it's always the fact that maybe my accounts get deducted, cash gets deducted from my account.
Mhm.
And because my card is already on Apple Store, there are some things like maybe iTunes. I do not use iTunes. And because my card is already on cheaper cash, it gets deducted. And I'm wondering why. I don't know if it is just peculiar to me or other people experience this.
You might need to.
Have you cancelled the subscription?
Yeah.
I don't even know how, because I never subscribed to it in the first place.
You might need to tweak some things in your Apple services.
I don't know.
subscription,
That's why
whether-
I don't know if this is
Okay.
if this is an issue peculiar to me or other people are experiencing this sort of issue too.
Yeah, so I don't think they've had much issues with cheaper cash.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
their rates that can.
It's their
Yes,
rates.
their
Yeah.
rate is also
Rates-
another thing.
But then I don't mind because for
If
me
it
just
works,
This is not
you
a
don't
paid.
mind.
This is not a paid ad, but it just works.
Yeah, so I think right
And
now.
I also like the fact that they allow you receive via crypto.
Oh, okay.
So you
yeah,
can
yeah.
receive
USDT, yeah.
USDT and all of that, and then use it to fund your
Dollar card.
Your dollar card,
I also just don't like the fact
which is
that
what Changera does too anyway.
that maybe I'm trying to make a payment and maybe after the payment does not go through once or twice, my cards get disabled.
Oh yeah, I think you
Yeah.
you wrote
My
about
card
that.
gets disabled, so I have to pay you another 3K or 3.5 to
So,
get another card or to reactivate the card. Why?
So
That's you stripping me off now.
wait
No,
first. Wait.
that's-
So the issue is for every time that payment does not go through, they're losing money,
Oh,
and their providers are penalizing them for that. So they have to protect themselves at some point. They were taking these losses throughout last year when there
Yeah,
was money.
using investors'
They were
money.
using investors' money to pad the losses. Payday 2 was doing the same thing. But when
Interesting.
investor money dried up, their eyes were open. The eyes of the understanding were open. So, and that's what's happened. So, yeah, there are lots of issues
I
there.
think that makes sense.
Yeah, then Payday, customer service, and I think they've had a lot of issues with people trying to impersonate them on social media. So there's always if you have, I think on average, if you have an issue with a Payday customer service, is you're probably not talking to a Payday customer service
Really?
professional. You're talking to a fraudster that is trying to defraud you because
Wow.
they create their accounts in such a way that it
Very-
looks like the original Payday.
Why can't they just get a verified account?
They have a verified account, but I don't know if people
But-
don't pay attention. They have a
But
verified
even with the
account.
verified account, with this X thing, anybody can be verified.
Okay. Let's not even go there.
Gold verification.
Gold
Well,
verification.
Scammer will
except
not
that,
invest $1,000 per month. To be-
Except that.
Yeah.
But if it's the normal blue tick, anybody can get that with 5K.
Yeah,
5K,
yeah. I
anybody
think
can get
all
that.
these things. I think I had this conversation when before Elon Musk brought all this blue, golden verification.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. So you can check TechPoint Africa to look at some of the stories we discussed today, and of course, like Muyiwa said, we're following up on some of the questions you probably have. Why is Bitmama acquiring a struggling or seemingly struggling fintech company? And what happens to your funds? And another conversation is people even have funds with Changera that they've not gotten. So
Oh yeah, I've seen complaints about that
yeah,
too.
so what's going to happen? Yeah, Changera, it just reminded me another KYC that made me abandon the registration process. It's a very strong KYC process. Like, I'm not doing. That's different from
Yeah, but I think again, we're talking about that balance.
the
Protecting
balance.
against fraud and all of that. Because I don't know, in their own case, I don't know, we don't hear reports, but we don't know whether they have the same issues with chargeback fraud. that
Not
others have.
necessarily. So,
So
from what I
that
found
could be why.
from what I saw, Payday is integrated with lots of third-party partners, but
Yeah.
Bitmama is able to use
Because they don't use
stablecoins.
third-party partners,
Yeah.
because they use stable coins. So it's a very interesting collaboration.
Yep.
User base of Payday with the infrastructure of
makes sense.
Changera.
Of Bitmama and Changera.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we've we've addressed a lot of topics today, and there are a few mentions. Nasser El-Rufai, is it Nasser or Nasir?
Nasser.
Nasir El-Rufai has launched $100 million VC fund. Will you collect money from him?
He has launched, but he has not raised it. Let's be sure. He announced it. It doesn't mean the 100 million is there yet.
Yes.
We have to be very deliberate about how we report these things.
Yeah.
Just 2M
See, guys,
of his he said he's bringing 2M of his personal money.
Of his personal money.
then-
So that's the only money that is available now.
So it's only 2M that's in that fund right now.
You know why they announced this?
Out of 100 million.
They announced it so
Just
that
2M.
they now attract people that will now come and put the money.
Oh,
Why are you announcing? Just start with what you have.
Want your money?
You should have
Anyway.
just launched a 2 million VC fund and invest 100.
How much is 2 million?
It's something.
50K in small
Where?
startups.
See,
True, sure.
it's not bad now.
True.
Yeah, so
If I see 50K now, collect now.
okay, yeah. Another interesting story: Call of Duty has launched a dedicated Nigerian server.
Bolu will love that news.
Yeah, Bolu is all over this story. So
I wonder how many users Call of Duty Mobile has in Nigeria for them to have considered launching a server.
Nigerian server. It's very, very interesting. I think they have a lot of users.
They have a lot.
Mm.
I have one of
They have
them.
meetups.
Yeah,
They have
I have one
meetups.
of them on my WhatsApp status. He's always posting. They have
Wow.
conversations, they have hangouts, and it's not just guys, it's girls.
Can we find out how many
Older.
people are in that meetup community?
I
Can you help me
could,
find out?
I could reach out to him, but there are a lot. There
It-
are actually a
Wh-
lot.
Why this is very interesting for me is that I'm not a gamer. Like, I get tired of games easily, but I've always known about games. I mean, from, you can guess my age, but from the days from the 90s, Famicom, SNES, Sega, when PlayStation launched. I remember when PlayStation 2 launched, you could not afford it, but one of my friends brought the magazine to school and we saw what PlayStation 2 was about. And then when PlayStation, I think it was either it was PlayStation 2 or 3 that they first launched the network PSN, where you can now play multiplayer. And at that time, from Nigeria, you could not connect. You could not. And then when you could then connect, when eventually Nigerians could connect, you didn't have the data to do it. Then we started having unlimited internet and you could connect, but latency. So they'll be beating you up because by the time you press X, so. But now the fact that mobile gaming, I mean, first of all, that's barrier to acquiring a console. Although they are relatively cheap anyway, they make more money on the CDs. That's barrier to acquiring a console taking off because you can play on mobile. And then now that we now have servers, more people are, like I just want to see what is going to. The next thing I want to see is will they enable payments
For
Nigerians? How much can they make? Because people want to buy guns and all the different modifications. So this is interesting for someone who always learnt about games in my childhood. Imagine if we had mobile phones then and this kind of advantages. Maybe I would have gotten more into gaming. Who knows?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, there were some handheld devices, but I don't think there was Game Boy, there was PSP,
Game Boy,
and all of that. But yeah,
I'm a game person, so I don't know.
sorry. Please, guys playing games out there or ladies playing games out there, don't let your parents know that you're buying guns with your actual money.
Yeah, killing people.
Yeah. Then I think finally they said South Africa they intend to have 20% of new vehicles in the automotive market to be electric vehicles by 2025. I mean, I don't know why this is an issue for South Africa, but let me just rest.
You don't know why it's an issue? How do you mean?
Like, why do they care about having
They should
EVs?
care with all the load shedding and everything that's happening.
EVs?
Yeah, I mean, you've been to South Africa. I don't know if you noticed one thing.
Yeah.
As you were landing on the plane, did you see the roofs?
No, I'm not
A
sure.
lot of solar panels.
I arrived at night, like midnight.
Oh, okay. A lot of solar panels because with this they are load shedding. They just say NEPA is taking like they say load shedding. They're giving it a nice name. With the load shedding issues, more people are moving towards renewable energy.
Oh, okay.
Right? So more people, that's the first, that's like the entry point for them. From there, or the gateway, probably start thinking about EVs and everything too.
Okay, I think the concern is I saw a tweet yesterday that saw that mentioned how much it costs to charge a Tesla. How much? Because NEPA lights cannot carry it.
Your solar can carry it.
Solar.
NEPA lights can't.
No, not power. Like you can't rely on NEPA to charge your car. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of them are moving to solar.
Solar.
Yeah.
So solar charges.
In fact, it's
EVs.
a big issue now because ESCOM, is it ESCOM? Their biggest power provider is now trying to like get government to give government support to stop people from getting solar panels and going off the grid. Some people are
Why
just
is
like,
that?
we don't want to be connected to you anymore because they are not used to. They are not like us. They didn't grow up with this situation of power
maybe
blackout.
it's the area I stayed though, but in Gauteng, but load shedding, I'm like NEPA takes light for a few minutes and they bring it
You
back.
did not. You stayed in a hotel.
Okay.
They have solar. They probably have solar panels. You did not know they were switching to solar. The hotel where I stayed, the whole roof, entire roof, because I was on the top floor, the entire roof was solar panels. You just didn't notice that they switched. I remember going to an office was in Santin, and I and the other Nigerian went for a meeting, and when it was time to leave, we tried to book an Uber. We were roaming. For some reason, the network wasn't going through.
Yeah, the roaming is not reliable.
So we're there for like, and somebody else also depending on the location. We're there for like 20 minutes. Do we have enough time?
No.
No, I thought we agreed on long form now. So interesting story I want to share. You can either think is racism or you can think is I don't overthink these things. But I wonder if it wouldn't have happened to a white person. So we're there seated for like 20 minutes trying to book. Unknown to us, there were cameras in the lobby. And then next thing we know, a black security guard comes in. Because it's a complex building, office complex, so different. And the guy comes and like, hey, hi, how you doing? Like, he didn't come like, what are you doing here? He was like, hey, oh, what are you waiting for? Like, kind of in a friendly way, but you knew what he was doing. So he asked, that one was, my colleague was standing like maybe 5 meters away, trying to find network for his own. We're trying to see whoever's phone would be able to book our Uber first. And the guy answered that, we're trying to book an Uber. Then he came to me too to confirm the same thing. And next thing I knew, he went to the restroom and then he went behind. He asked us which office we were. And then next thing we knew, we had gone to the office we said we were coming from. So I asked them, there are some guys there. Are you guys with them? Say, oh, yeah. And next thing they came out like, oh, what's going on? Now getting to my story because they're wondering, like, we're having issues. Is the load shedding? I'm like, oh, load shedding? Like, because there was lights, right? Obviously, solar or whatever. But apparently, just like here, if you've noticed, whenever there's no lights, network is actually
Poor.
I never connected it before, so they're like, oh yeah, anytime there's load shedding, network is bad. They're like, oh, hey, then they just booked the Uber for us. So load shedding affects network.
Interesting.
It affects many things.
Yeah, I've noticed that from cellular, but I wonder why it affects my fiber at home. Where rain and network and power outage, if there's extended power outage, the fiber gets very, very slow and terrible.
Why is that?
Okay, yeah, that's a different conversation. But
I think before we get into this, but the point I'm trying to make is, I mean, they are just more and more of them are moving towards
renewable energy
because it's just ruining many things for them.
Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so don't forget, we had a lot of discussions about acquisitions, about refocusing your market, and interesting conversations. And just imagine how much negotiation and how much conversations are going on behind the Bitmama deal and everything. So if you want to learn how to negotiate like a pro and close like a pro, don't sleep on AltSchool's high impact selling course. We're partnering with them. And for the sake of being part of this podcast, you're going to get a 20% discount on the fee. And like Nifemi pointed out a few weeks ago, it's being managed by instructors that have closed a combined $10 million in revenue, not VC fundraising. So, yeah, that was
actual revenue.
So you're going to learn a lot about negotiation, about selling your vision, and about acquiring the customers that you need to actually grow your business. So yeah, use the code TechPoint to grab your offer while it lasts. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletters, FinTech Today, my newsletter, which is going to be having some changes very soon. Then the Workaholic, you've not changed the name yet. Okay, it's fine. then Techpoint Digest, our flagship newsletter led by Victoria. And yeah, very, very interesting. Equity merchants, obviously. Also going to be, there's some changes already there, and so you must have noticed it, but it's going to be coming better and better and better. And we're doing a lot of things internally to improve. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all the things you need to do. And you can always reach out to, don't disturb them too much, but you can always reach out to Muyiwa, Omolara, and have conversations with them.
I'm a little bit rusty, actually.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Right?
And if we didn't share this South Africa story with me. And the Lidya one too. I should move on.
Yeah, don't worry. You should do this more often. We should be seeing you in the studio.
Yeah, actually. I'll think about it.
Think about it, yeah? Okay, so you're doing stuff around AI and analytics, right? So you have conversations around that.
So I work as a marketing outcomes person.
Okay.
With analytics intelligence. It's a data analytics company, and we also we teach people in data analytics, data science, AI with the flagship of AI Academy.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, so
we have an AI Academy. When did you launch that?
AI.
Before or after ChatGPT?
In fact,
I'm trying to set.
we were actually integrated with ChatGPT in 2020.
Oh, so
Yes.
you're using GPT-3.
Yes, as at the time.
OpenAI.
Yes.
They've been around since 2018. That's what most people don't know.
Yeah, they've
Powering
been around.
many apps that you use actually.
Exactly.
Interesting. So yeah, if you want to learn more about what Omolara is doing with analytics intelligence, please reach out to her. Of course. Yeah, Muyiwa, yeah, TechPoint. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining us, and it's been quite a while, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Of course, for those who don't like this long form, we'll be splitting the episodes as usual to smaller bites that you can consume. And yeah, we are appreciating all your comments, all your talks, your feedbacks, and your fights. If you fight me, I'll fight you back. There's no hard feelings. And yeah, you can find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Wait, Google Podcast is about to, so YouTube Music.
Yeah, they're moving to YouTube music.
This is stressful. Spotify. See,
I love it.
I will Bolunado, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. It does not rhyme. All right, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.